Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to Non-Stop Racing TV, presenting to you here tonight the Integrity Racing League Rowell the Dice 200 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Las Vegas, Nevada. Looking to come back after a bad representation of last week. Non-Stop Racing TV is looking to bring you a great performance here tonight of Integrity Racing League. I'm your announcer number 1 here tonight, Zach Meck, up in the booth here with your announcer number 2.
Dustin Shilson, good to be up here with you tonight, Zach.
Yeah, glad to have you back after a kind of a whirlwind of last week. We're looking to have a good week here, and so far I'm seeing some great times up here on the board. See a couple guys wrecking here and there, but I don't think that's anything concerning here tonight.
No, I don't think that's going to be a concern tonight. There's been some really good racing here at Las Vegas this week, and we see some pretty quick times up there, and these times are very close together there in the top 5.
As we will try to get a quick word in, possibly with your race sponsor here tonight. Let's see if we can find him and pull him down into the radio. All right, as I do have a word from him, let's see if we can get him on down here. All right, as we do have contact with the number 17 of Neil Frolich here tonight. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
All right. Well, you're the race sponsor here tonight for Rowell the Dice 200, I should say. What are your expectations here for tonight's race?
Well, I'm hoping for a top 15 to top 10, depending on how it goes. Rowell the Dice 200. We're coming out to Vegas next September. It's kind of a fun race advertisement to get everybody interested if they want to go. Vegas is getting ready for Rowell to hit the strip, get all the ladies, the food, the businesses. We're going big when we get there.
Well, big or go home, I should say. Well, definitely.
Yeah, man, we'll see how it goes. No expectations, really. Just want to have a clean race.
Yeah, what's your strategy here for tonight? You think you're just going to kind of drive around here and hopefully avoid everything, or you got a specific strategy you're ready to play here tonight?
I think we're going to see some long runs, probably. What am I looking at? I'm looking about starting 20th, so try to keep it clean, save a little tire, see how the strategy rolls towards the end.
All right, man. Well, we're excited to see you here tonight, and thank you for sponsoring tonight's race. Good luck tonight.
Hey, man. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too, sir.
Neil.
I'm back.
Trying to move him up.
No incident cap to speak of, but just keep in mind the caution rule that we have and what entails.
All right. We did have a great interview there with Neil.
Otherwise, we follow the iRacing.
As we do have a quick black screen real quick for you. Just trying to...
Yeah, but otherwise...
As now we are back. Just had to cut the sound out real quick for something real quick, so you could not hear any of the drivers' chat radios in the sim. Well, as qualifying does come to an end here, 10 minutes, we're going to start rolling out your grid here tonight, Justin. Or Dustin. Jeez, I don't know why I said that. Starting tonight on the pole on the inside in the number 51 machine here, running a fast time of 29.579, the driver Caleb Eisenhower. Starting in second on the outside, running in the number 9 machine here tonight, Joe Slamma. Starting in third on the inside in the number 5 machine, Brandon Kirkman. Starting in fourth in that number 1 machine here tonight, Brad Patton. Starting in fifth on the outside, on the inside in the number 48 here tonight, Adam Taglazio.
And starting in number 6 spot, we have David Rattler, the number 09. Starting in number 7, we have Samuel Nieto, the number 45 car. And starting in the 8th spot, in the number 12 car, we have Brandon John Kohler. And starting in the 9th spot, number 18, Cody Smith.
Starting in 10th on the outside, in the number 83, Guillermo Alvarez. Starting in 11th on the inside, piloting the number 19 machine here tonight, Tyler Herr. Starting in 12th on the outside, in the number 78 machine, Todd Thomas. Starting in 13th on the inside, one of the strong competitors for the last 2 weeks, the number 43 of William Dunn. Starting in 14th in the number 50, Joshua Campbell.
And starting in number 15th, we have number 11, Eric DeBlasio. Starting in 16th, the number 74 car, Samuel Roush. And starting in 17th, we have the number 29 car of Alan Pajare. And starting in number 18th spot, we have the 25 car of Joseph Steese. And in the 19th spot tonight, we have car 90, Trevor Rapolio.
Starting in 20th in the number 17, Neo Frolich. Starting in 21st in the number 36, Jacob Fife. Starting in 22nd in the number 67, Don Stephenson. Starting in 23rd in the number 4 car, Nick Terbush. Starting in 24th in the number 97, Nick Ward.
Starting in the 25th spot, we have number 92, Bruce Bakerman. Starting in the number 26th spot, we have James Hudson, the 53. Starting in the 27th spot, we have the 32 of Patrick Davis. Starting in the 28th spot, we have the 06 of Jay Hirschman. And in the 29th spot tonight, we have car 16, Lance Gettles.
And that'll round out your grid here for tonight, as the cars are starting to round into turn 3 and 4 to get this race started for tonight. As it'll be a long race here tonight, 134 laps, 200 miles. These cars are in for a beating here. Not like the tires from last week at Atlanta. These tires are going to have a little more wiggle room as they do come out of turn number 4. The green flag will wave, and we are underway here. Pedal to the metal, they are off. Going into turn number 1 here, the number 51 seems to dive it end high. He's going to arc the car into the turn a little bit. Going to get the run that he wants coming out of the turn, but he's got that 5 not too far behind. They do come out of turn 2 for many rows behind that number 51. They will be side by side. Going into turn 3, the 5 onto the bumper, the number 51. May lose a little momentum there. Now he's going to have some trouble behind him. 51 drops to that apron. Going to use that to his advantage, trying to get into turn number 1.
We finally see the 51 begin to pull away here, going into 1 and into 2, but the 5 car looks to have a run up high.
As that 5 will get that momentum on that high line. He's going to get to the bumper, does a little crossover, going to the low line. Is he going to get it? They're going to be side by side going into turn number 3. As the 5 with that lone lane advantage, the 51 may get the run out of the turn, though. We're going to have to see, is the 5 going to dive down to below that white line on the front stretch? He will not. They're side by side, but the number 5 will lead that lap.
And side by side going into 1, the 51, the 5, and the 5 looks like he does get a little bit of a run there at the bottom. But will the 51 get the run off 2 here?
Down the backstretch they go, side by side for 3 to 4 rows. Going into turn number 3, rounding around. That number 5 still has that low lane advantage. The 51 using the high lane momentum out of the turn to keep him side by side. Who's going to lead the lap this time by? It'll be the 51.
When going back into 1 side by side, you really have to think who's going to give the position away so they can start saving their tires here. Because really, I mean, they keep this up, we'll be gone soon.
Also thinking about early on in the race, too. We're only on lap number 4 of 134. These guys are racing like it's lap 130 of 134. As now the 51 seems to let off a little bit, realizing it's too early on in this race to be fighting this hard. Maybe for 5 laps to go, but not 130 laps to go.
Yeah, we finally see the 51 just pulled back there in line, and he realizes this is a longer race than just 5 laps here.
As they were looking maybe a little 3 wide there with that 51 coming out of turn number 2. Didn't push the limit, though. There's no need for 3 wide right now.
No, there isn't. I feel like we'll see a lot of these guys just fall into line here and cruise out the beginning of this. beginning of the race.
So we do see them starting to kind of single file it out here, but we still see a couple double files behind the leader. As most of the way into the back of the pack, it's starting to single file out as they come out of turn number 2, going into 3.
We see the number 5 there start to pull away from the entire pack with probably a 6 to 7 car length lead here going into 1.
As that number 5 is maybe using up his tires a little bit early on in this race to try and maybe think that he's going to get a green flag pit stop, so he's going to try and pull away maybe? Or is he just...
Yeah, we have 3 wide back there going for 3rd. Wow. Down the backstretch there.
As there are 3 wide coming out of turn number 4. One car looks to get into the wall there. May have been the number... I believe that was the number 4. No, that was not the number 4. He is in the way back, actually, side by side, going into turn number 1. It'll be the number 48. Number 48 of Adam de Blasio. Looks like he may have got the wall a little bit coming out of that turn.
We finally see the number 1 car sneak his way into 2nd place and try to chase down the number 5.
As now this number 5 is just kind of, I think he's just kind of cruising along right now, but that number 1 is looking to take that position. He's going to try and get that bonus point for leading the lap. As they go into turn number 3 and 4 here, that number 1 is starting to close that gap just by little. Went from 3/10 to 2/10, and now he's down into almost 1/10 as they come across the line. 3 wide across the line for P number 3. Actually, P number 4, my bad.
Yeah, and it looks like the 51, oh, he drops back to 3rd. And we're spreading out there in the 1, 2, and 3 spots.
As they are only on lap number 10 of 134 here. Tire window is probably about 35 to 40 laps. I'd say the fuel window is no more than 45 laps.
Yeah, and you know they're gonna start to think about that throughout this race, and those tires are going to get very, very loose towards the end of their runs.
As we see that number 1 starting to get to the bumper of the number 5. Going into turn number 3 and 4 here. Like the number 1's going to lay off a little bit. The number 5 starts to run a little higher of a line, realizing the number 1 and caution will fly for the first time here tonight. Here on lap number 12, or lap number 11 of 134, the caution did fly. Trying to see if maybe we can get a look at what happened. May have just been a debris caution.
Oh, that's fine.
Alright, as the cars roll down into pit road here, the number 5 hits his pit stop perfectly, and the number 51 as well.
Yeah, and it seems that we literally just had a debris caution. There was no contact with any drivers at all.
Maybe somebody blew up and dripped a little oil on track. As wow, is that the number 1 we saw? Get a great run off of pit road there? We're gonna have to go in and see.
There were several cars there that got a really, really good run on a pit road there.
I seen a car burst right out behind that number 51. I'm not sure if that was the number 1 or not. I'm trying to get a good look. I believe it was the number 1, and he... Actually, no, it's going to be the... No, it will be... It will be the number 1 of Brad Patton, because the number 06 is currently the leader right now, but he did not did not pit. The number
No,
one.
I think he just took a ride down pit road there.
Actually, no. Number 51 of Caleb Eisenhower must have beat the number 1 out by just a splitter, because it's showing that he will be in front of the number 1. So, may have thought that the number 1 did get a good run out of pit road, but man, did he just lose that battle by just inches.
Yeah, he did. Now going back and looking at it here, the 51 barely got the number 1 there coming out of pit road.
As that line for the exiting of pit road is a lot closer than it was last week at Atlanta. This first pit stall here does have the advantage exiting pit road.
But we do see the 06 of Jay Hirschman stay on track in the number 1 spot and decides not to pit here 14 laps into his run.
I don't know if that is a smart idea, but you know what? Everybody has different strategies. We're just going to... I think we're going to see a little bobble up on the start here tonight, Dustin, on this restart.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the 06 car get a little loose here on the start. If not, he will be very slow on the start, and we're going to see the 51 and 1 overtake him very quickly.
Yeah, there's not much... there's not going to be much tire spin with this number 06. He might get a good start, but those tires run for about 12 laps or so are really going to show comparison to those guys with new tires, fresh new stickers. As it looks like the number 06 will actually pit, realizing maybe staying out in some older tires is not the best idea. And that'll cycle the lead right back over to the number 51.
Well, and also the 06 playing a little bit of strategy there on the fuel game, maybe trying to get a couple more laps out of this second run here on the fuel.
That is a smart thinking over there. Dustin did not think about that. Gonna pit this time, but they're gonna be 1 to go, double filing it up for the restart. And the number 51 does choose that inside lane.
And the 06 might be just hoping for a quick caution here, and he could stay out on the tail end of this caution as well.
As these cars are rolling down the backstretch into turn number 3 and 4 here, lights on the pace car are off once again. Getting ready to go green this time. As they are.
I mean, so far we've seen a really good performance from the 51 and the 1 out front here. See how long they can suffice this lead.
Pace car does dive off, ready to go green here. Green flag waves, pedal to the metal. They are off once again here for the first restart of the night. And then number 51 gets a great start going into turn number 1 here. That number 1 bobbled up a little bit on that outside lane. And he's got the fun number 48 problem right behind him.
Yes, he does. The 51 gets a really good restart there on the start and pulls away, but it actually looks like the 1's coming back almost to his bumper there in 3 and 4.
But not too far behind that number 48. That number 48 has another leader problem, the number 5, who's currently been the most dominant right now. But that number 5 and 51 are going to be one of the most 2 running up front here tonight.
And we see the number 1 get a huge run there on the 51. And the 51 just continues to fight the 1 off here for the lead.
As the number 5 looks to the high line on the number 48, side by side in turn 3 and 4. Looking to get the run out of the turn. Doesn't seem to get it, and now that number 5 is at 09, as actually the number 48 may have not got the best run out of turn number 4. 5's going to look to try and change that going into turn 3. The 09 looking below that number 05. Will he push it 3 wide? He says no. And that 5 is going to get a great run up to the bumper of the number 1.
Some real good racing there by the number 5 and Brandon Kirkman to get a huge run there down the backstretch.
But Now that number 1 on that high lane as well. The number 5 is going to have to try to find a way around him and the 48. Will he push it 3 wide onto the front stretch?
Ooh, getting a little bit of loose there on the front stretch there.
As they head into turn number 3 here, that number 12 took advantage of that outside lane against the 5 there, and he's going to overtake him.
Yeah, but I do not think the 5 is just going to sit back and watch this race. He has that high line working good with his setup here.
I don't think he's going to sit and watch this race, but does he want to sit and possibly get into a wreck, or does he want to sit and maybe hold his car down of his power a little bit towards the end of the race? Onto that bumper, the number 12 here. This 5 is not showing any mercy, wanting to get back up front.
Yeah, and the number 12 car and the number 5 car, Brandon Kirkman there, really working that high line and getting those huge runs off the corners here.
As the 1 gets the advantage going into turn 3, passes number 51, goes up to block him, and the number 1 is going to try and lead this lap. He will. Number 1 will lead that lap this time as the 51 looks to the inside. As that number 1 chooses the high lane, 51 that mid lane, 48 looking maybe push it 3 wide. 51 seems to be falling off a little bit. Now the number 1 is going to start pulling away.
Yeah, and the number 1 of Brad Patton there, really, ooh, and number 5 gets loose there, coming out of 3. Looks like he's going to gather it up, and we're going to stay green.
Coming to lap number 22 of 134 here. Number 1 out front, starting to just pull away little by little. 48 is going to look to the bottom of the number 51 here, going into turn 1 and 2. Is he going to get the run he needs? No, he cannot. Pulls back up. He's going to have to try it again into turn number 3.
Yeah, and with that little bobble there from the number 5, we really have spread out the top 5, actually the top 10 here. And we should be looking for some single file racing here.
As we do see, most of this field right now is currently about single file. Heading back into about the number 5, who's side by side and in a lot of side by side action, more into the middle of the field here. As we look along right now, seeing that number 18 work that bottom lane, trying to get by that number 90. Is he going to be able to do it onto the front stretch? Looks again. Can't seem to do it now, and the 32 will overtake him on that high line. As to about position number 20, single file all the way to about the 20th position. As we head it back up just a little further in the field, we see that number 9 riding the 43's bumper across the start-finish line. And into turn number 1 here, the number 9 looking to that low lane to pass the number 43 is going to be able to clear him. 43 dives down right below him, though.
Yeah, that 48 car of Adam de Blasio really trying to work that 51 on that low line, just not get that car to stick and come out of the corners.
As it seems to be the 51 is taking the number 48's line of choice, so the 48 trying to move around and see what he can get his car to do. And he has that number 09 right on his bumper, trying to hold him off as well.
Yeah, now we really finally see this top 5 really start to spread out as the number 1 of Brad Patton really extending his lead here with 109 laps to go.
As that 09 works that top line against the number 48 here, coming out of turn number 4. Will he clear him out of the turn? He's not going to be able to clear him. The 48 in a little overrun. Going into turn number 1 here, number 09, they're going to be pushing it almost 3 wide there going into turn number 1.
I mean, they were definitely going to go 3 wide if Mr. 51 there gave him the opportunity to do it. But 51 comes down and kind of throws a little block there to stay out of trouble.
That number 09 does clear that number 48. Now we'll try and work that number 51. He's going to try that low lane going into turn 1. He will not. He's going to ride right behind the 51. Now he pushes the 51 up a little up track. Maybe he's going to get the run he needs. Can't seem to do it.
Definitely getting in the right position here to make a pass on the 51 here and get the second position and try and chase down this leader. And there we see David Rattler take that bottom line, push the 51 up the track a little bit.
Ooh, and he gets loose. Turn two. He's going to have a great save, though, and he's going to keep that momentum really fairly up. Only loses about one position there. Because now he's going to have to try and work his way back to his position.
Yeah, very great driving there by David Rattler in the 09 to save that and not cause anything there. Number 48 actually looking on the inside of the 51 there. Does he get the run down the backstretch?
48 goes to look into the inside there into turn 3. The 51 throws a little block. That's not going to hold the 48 back, though, as he gets right to the bumper of the 51 out of turn number 4.
And the 48 again looking low, trying to make that low line stick, and he's just not getting the runs out of the corner that he needs. And the 48 actually ran the fastest lap out of everybody there with the 31.6 as we see lap times start to fall off here 19 laps into this run.
As these tires are starting to wear off just little by little, lap by lap. These guys starting to run about a second, almost 2 seconds, I would say, off of their new sticker tire paces. But that number 1 somehow still maintaining that lead, running some very fast times here. Still running 100ths of a second good to all the other cars. Last lap around was a 31.76. The second place car ran a 31.77. As they do hit the line that time. The second place car ran about a 10th faster than the first place car. That's not going to let him bother. Not going to let the number 1 bother him, as he's still out front in the lead by a good almost second.
Yeah, and whatever Brad Patton's got going on, the crew chief down in the garage is really working for him tonight here at Las Vegas.
As we've seen a dominant performance so far right now, it is number 1. Is he going to lead most of this race? I have a pick tonight for my win, and it's going to be that number 1.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I mean, I really don't see much stopping him or catching up to him at this point. If we can keep this race green and he has some good pit stops here, I really don't see much getting in the way of Brad Patton taking this one home.
As he comes around to complete lap number 34, going into 35, here with 100 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, with 100 laps to go here at Las Vegas, we actually have 19 people now on the lead lap. And these drivers are now getting into 23 laps into the tank of fuel.
As those tanks of fuel are starting to come down to a brim here. They still got about 20 laps left on fuel, I would say, but those tires, they're not going to align the same amount of laps as the fuel. Those tires are going to want to be put and changed way before the fuel has to be fueled up.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing some huge fall-offs here now in times with Brad Patton's fastest lap on the his lap on his last lap was a 32.049.
As he's actually starting to lose a lot of time. No, actually, no, it's staying about the same between him and the second place car, because right now that number 51 is fighting that number 48. 48 running that low line, trying to get it to work. 51's just got that momentum coming out of the turn.
And this is where we see who in the middle of the pack here has saved enough tires to make a run here towards the front in the end of this fuel run here.
As you see a little wiggle out of the rear end of the number 48. Will clear that number 51 on the front stretch, though. Still going to have to try and hold him off, but I don't think these guys have enough tires to go up and catch that leader right now.
No, and we see the 09 of David Rattler still sitting back there in 4th place as well. Just kind of seeing what was going to happen there between the 48 and the 51.
Kind of just playing a cruising game right now, maybe waiting for a perfect time to pounce up there and taking advantage. But still early on in this race, lap 39 of 134. These guys, as laps are winding down, still have plenty of laps to decide when they're going to start making their more aggressive move.
Yeah, they do. And as we spread ourselves out here, I mean, our tanks of gas and our tires are going to be very important, and the strategy that is played within them is going to become very important as well if we keep green here.
As number 5 early on in this race did seem to have a dominant car, seems to just start to fall back little by little, trying to fight to stay in the top 10 right now, but that 25 of Joseph Tice is going to have a word about that. As that 45 and 83 are side by side in coming out of turn 2 here. 45 looks to get a little loose. That number 25 of Joseph Tice didn't let that 5 say anything to him. Now he's going to have to try and fight this number 45 and 83 as he's just right on that bumper of the 45 coming out of turn number 4.
Ooh, and we have a caution on the racetrack.
Let's see if we can find maybe where this caution did happen. Maybe another debris caution on track as these guys just kind of seeming to slow down as I'm not seeing anything. The leaders do hit pit road now. Get our great over the top here edge of the pit road. As you see, that number 1 hit his pit stall there first. Great pit stop, 51 into his pit stall. That number 1 just had a great, I think his pit crew is going to be performing really well right now. As I'm going to watch that number 1 4th car down in the row. All these cars are starting to come out. There goes the number 1, then the 48, 51. That's going to be a close one there. I'm not sure who won that battle off pit road. I think it's the number 1.
Yeah, it looks like the number 1 definitely won that battle with the 51 off the pit road. And trying to go back and trying to figure out what happened with that caution. And really, there's, again, nothing. Yeah, did you end up buying one? Sweet. Can't complain about that.
Actually, we're going to see a little damage to that number 43 machine of William Dunn on that left rear. As he may be a lap down there and is going to try and take that wave around, coming to the line.
And as we go one lap to green here, we have the 1 and the 51 out front still, followed by the 09 and the 48.
As the pace car is double filing them up, coming around to turn number 4 here, getting ready to go green.
And we're going to have 90 laps to go when the pace car pulls down here.
Pace car does dive off, and they are ready, pedal to the metal. Green flag will be waving, and they are off for the restart.
And again, the 1 and the 51 getting a great restart here.
Those two are definitely going to be the two fighting for the final position coming around for that final lap. I feel like I know it's going to be a close finish, but I'm still going to pick my winner here this week as number 1 of Brad Patton.
And really, all the top 5 there really getting a great restart and not allowing the 1 to really get out ahead like he did last restart.
No, but he's definitely pulling a gap right now, about 0.4 of a second coming across the line. As we see a great fight here for position number 2. 48 will look to the inside of the number 51 going into turn 3 here. Uh-oh. We're seeing a little blinking from the number 48. Maybe on my side once again this week, we don't know. As it does seem to settle itself out here. Blinking is in fact when a car on the track, as you see that number 1 up in the lead, blinks a little bit, the car bounces just a little bit. And that is an issue between the server and the iRacing server and the user, where the connection is not strong enough to hold, and they start to blink a little bit, and it does concern all drivers on track. It's hard to explain, but I'm going to try and see if we can figure out where this blinking issue is coming from, as it's not as severe as last week, but do not like to see it at all.
Yeah, I'm good on my side.
As the blinking has seemed to settle itself out a little bit here, these cars are on lap number 55 of 134, double file, or I should say side by side, on the front stretch between that number 51 and number 12.
And yeah, we've seen some really good racing here for the second and third spot with the 09, the 48, and the 74 of Samuel Roush actually made his way up there as well.
As we see that number 1, though, of Brad Patton pulling that lead now of 1 second. He's got a big gap between him and that number 09, starting to just run away.
Yeah, and whatever he's doing in the garage tonight is really working for him on both restarts. Nobody can really seem to figure it out to catch up with him.
As we got a battle for fourth brewing up here between that number... Oh, we're going to see that number 12. Ooh, we're going to see a big spin out of that number 12, and that's going to bring out your third caution here tonight. We're going to get an instant replay on that real quick. We're going to bring it back just a little bit into turn number 1 here. See that number 12 riding that high line, working past that number 51. Slides up a little bit, just gets loose, can't seem to save the car. That's going to make the 51 get loose as well, and he's going to slam that inside wall there down below that apron, and that's going to bring out your third caution here tonight. Very
unfortunate there for the 51 because he's really had a good race here so far. He's up there fighting for the lead, number 51, Caleb Eisenhower. And the number 12 car was actually just up there fighting for his third place spot as well and was racing very well until he fell back there to 5th or 6th.
As the cars do start to bring it down pit road here on lap number 58 of 134.
We see the number 1 again winning that fight off pit road.
As that number 1's pit crew is just on fire here tonight. No mistakes happening.
No, and we actually see the entire front of the 51 car just completely gone, and that just might be the end of his night.
An upsetting way to end your night here, especially early on in the race, but wrecks do happen.
Yes, they do, and here at Las Vegas it's almost impossible to avoid them if they're happening right in front of you. There's not much room to get around cars here. Looks like we're going to have several cars stay out here, the 05 and the 17, and it looks like they're just going to try and get their lap back. Yeah, it's like giving a kid candy, man. Yeah, this one's not. I mean, this is more caution than there was last week or in Daytona. Well, we didn't sit we didn't sit the whole race. What do you have your settings at drawing the cars? Like, how many max cars do you have draw? I wouldn't even. Don't even draw that many if you're just gonna do. Like if you're just doing like TV1, TV3. Change your settings and only have it draw so many cars. Like my max cars is only 20. Yeah, I do mine at 20. You could probably do yours at 10, as long as you don't do like a blimp view. Yeah, chopper, that'd be fine with 20 cars. Uh, what are your like grandstands, events, and crowds and stuff at? Yeah, well, and you gotta be careful because that update they're gonna release today or tonight is gonna mess with our graphics big time.
Yeah, as the pace car does dive off.
Green.
Green flag will wave, and they are off. Number 1, not going to get as big of a gap this time between him and the number 09 in second. 09's going to stay right up on him, and caution will fly.
Caution on the restart.
Caution on the restart. Maybe we'll bring it back in the field just a little bit here. Not seeming to see anything big. Maybe just a single car spin there on that restart. Huh.
They're doing a new crowd. Like the crowds are gonna be more in detail. So, yeah, but I mean, even if like it's just gonna change like the low and medium and high. And then they're doing something else redonkulous too with the graphics. Yeah, dude, don't buy them now. It's a scam. And give it a couple more months. Well, I'm hoping if Bitcoin crashes or it goes back down, then the prices of cards will go with it. Which will be great because I need to buy a card for triple monitors, which I should have just did when I bought this one. Yeah. Well, there's a guy on Facebook too that sells a lot of graphics cards for cheap. He buys them wholesale and then sells them out, and he sells them for decent prices. Yeah, but I mean, graphics cards are it's just a dangerous place now because you can't buy them used either. Because you buy them used and they've been overclocked like 7 million times. Mining Bitcoin. How did the 94 get in the lead? How did he get up there? Oh, I wonder if he's the one that wrecked.
As we see that number 94 up there, maybe looking to take a wave around, has a missing front bumper. He may try and get his wave around though, as they're going to come out of turn number 4 here, and the lights on the pace car, I believe, should go off this time. As the lights on the pace car do go off, indicating green this time round.
And we're left with 69 laps to go here at Las Vegas. And Brad Patton still holding the fastest lap at 29.92. Gotta work out all the cobwebs in these restarts.
As the number 1 of Brad Patton still holds the lead here tonight. Got that number 09 on the outside though, had a good restart. Great timing on that restart actually by that number 09. Is he going to be able to do it again here? As they do come out of turn number 4 now. Or at least rounding to come out of turn number 4. Pace car getting ready to dive in this time. As the pace car does dive in, they are getting ready here. Green flag will wave, and the pedal is to the metal, and the number 1 is going to get a fantastic restart. The number 09 just couldn't seem to keep up with him there as he goes into turn number 1. Almost a 4/10 of a second lead onto that number 09, as now that 09 is going to use that inside lane. Going to start pushing his stuff just a little bit here as these laps are starting to wind down. 69 laps to go here, actually 68 I believe now. I think we're starting to see a lot more aggression out of these drivers.
And he really pulled away from the 5 there at the bottom line. He got a great restart there. And the 09 just lucky enough to sort of keep up with him there, but he's still pulling away.
As we're going to see a car on the wall, it looks like to be the number 25 of Joseph Tice. Going to start losing a lot of positions from that. As he starts to fall back. That number 09 onto the bumper, the number 1 going into turn number 3 here. Not going to let that number 1 pull away like he did that last restart. 2 restarts ago,
No, he isn't. And we're about halfway through the race here as we come around to 66 laps to go.
As that 09 looks to the inside after riding that bumper, the number 1, that whole front stretch. Is he going to get the run he needs out of turn number 2?
No, it doesn't look like David Rattler in the 09 is going to get the quarter panel there, but he will try again going into 3 and 4.
As the number 1 took that high lane, got that momentum coming out of turn 2 there. The 09 going to get that momentum of the high lane going down the front stretch here. What lane will he take going into turn number 1?
Looks like the 09 is a lot better here in 3 and 4 compared to the 1 car of Brad Patton in 1 and 2.
As the number 1 sees that the 09 is going to take that higher lane going into turn 1, he decides to play the defense game, and he's going to take the same lane. As now that number 1 is going to start throwing a couple blocks here and there. Lap 70 of 134 here. These laps are starting to wind down, and we're starting to see a lot more aggression out of this number 1 here.
Yeah, and we finally see the 09 of David Rattler being able to reel this number 1 car, Brad Patton, back in and be able to at least race him here.
As that number 1 takes a high lane, the 09 will be right on his bumper, not letting that number 1 get a far gap on lap number 72 here, going down the backstretch into turn number 3.
Yeah, and the 09 of David Rattler is right on the bumper there of Brad Patton going into 1.
Every line that number 1 takes, that 09 follows. Tries to maybe break it up a little bit mid-turn in that turn number 1. That number 1 is a lot stronger in turn 1 and 2 there. It's a little tongue twister, honestly. But that number 09 is a lot stronger in 3 and 4 as we see him start to get right back up to that bumper. The number 1 coming out of turn 4 rides his bumper this whole front stretch. He's giving that number 1 a little anxiety, trying to push him up a little bit to make a mistake to where the number 09 can take the advantage and pass him.
Yeah, the number 09 of David Rattler just cannot get in a good 1 and 2, and he finally does there, and looks like he's going to have it going into 3 and 4.
As that 09 slides up a little bit, that number 1's going to take that run. 09 just couldn't seem to get it to stick on that low lane there, and the number 1's going to take the advantage.
Yeah, that was a good move there in 1 and 2 by David Rattler, but going down the backstretch, he just could not get that to stick in 3 and 4 as he now is playing catch up again to the number 1 of Brad Patton.
Trying to get that car to stick on that low lane. He can seem to do it that time by in turn 3 and 4. Going to be on that bumper once again to the number 1 here, and this is going to be an interesting fight as we're already on our toes here watching these two battle it out for the lead.
Yeah, and with 59 laps to go, looks like we're going to need a couple more pit stops here if we keep green, so it'll be very interesting, the strategy that's played here on out.
I think one more strategy, I think the strategy we're going to see here out of all these drivers is one more pit stop. Unless cautions do seem to happen, if this race finishes under green flag conditions, no more cautions from here on out, I think it's going to be a 1 pit stop strategy.
Yeah, as we roll to lap 19 on these tires and tank of fuel, I mean, adding in a couple caution laps there, seems like we should be able to do it in 1 pit stop.
I definitely would say my personal opinion from the mind of a driver myself, that with 59, 58 laps to go here, having plenty of fuel to make it to maybe 30 laps to go, I would personally, my strategy would be hit with 31 laps to go, coming around to 30 laps to go, get brand new 4 sticker tires and fill her up with fuel, and I'm off. That would be my last pit stop of the race. Now, of course, if a caution does happen, I will pit.
The number 74, Samuel Roush, getting a huge run there for the 3rd place as he overtakes the 48 of Adam de Blasio.
As we have a great fight for the lead up front, but we also have a great fight for the 3rd position. These guys are now holding back no mercy. These laps are starting to wind down here.
Yeah, and some real good racing we're seeing here for the 1st and 2nd and 3rd and 4th positions. And really the top 6 or 7 have kind of paced their way out and, you know, made their own line in the sand here. No, I'm running sim racing apps on my laptop right next to me. I'm running on a laptop and I can barely see everything on here, but it's great.
Is that 74 still fighting with that 48 side by side, coming out of turn number 4. Roll right back up to our leaders real quick as the number 09 is still on that number 1 bumper, going into turn number 1 here.
And at this point, the number 09 of David Rattler might just be thinking, you know, if I can sit back here and conserve some tires and at least keep him within reach, you know, for the rest of the race, then he can make his move later on.
He may be thinking that, but he doesn't seem to be showing that. As
No, he doesn't. He's definitely trying to get this pass done now.
He's trying to get it done now, and he wants it done as soon as he can. Just maybe sitting back a little bit here, waiting to pounce on that number 1 when he makes a mistake. Because nobody's pitch perfect, and he knows that that number 1, if he keeps riding on his bumper like that, he's going to make a mistake.
Really great driving so far from Brad Patton there, and the number 1 car has really led a majority of these laps tonight, if not all of them.
He has currently led 61 laps here out of 82. The other drivers currently leading laps here tonight is the number 5 of Brandon Kirkman leading 10 laps, and then the number 51 of Caleb Eisenhower leading 8. We had the number 06 of Jay Heisman leading 1 lap under caution, I remember. Number 17 of Neil Frolich leading 1 lap under caution. And that's just going to round out all the drivers who have led a lap here tonight.
And we're coming up on some lap traffic here.
Looks to be the number
seeing
51
how
of
the
Caleb
leaders deal
Eisenhower.
with this.
The number 51 of Caleb Eisenhower with that heavy front end damage. Going to give the leaders some leeway here and stay out of the battle as he stays low for them going into turn 1.
The leaders there having to take a huge lineup on the top of the track there.
As then we do see another car going to take the apron into turn 3. He's going to give the leaders a big leeway, let them take whatever line they want. That lap car did have heavy front end damage as well.
And the number 1 and 09 have really created a huge gap back to the 3rd and 4th position of Samuel Roush and Adam DiBlasio as we come around to 50 laps to go.
As we do hit 50 laps to go here, I don't know how these leaders are side-by-side battling almost every lap and have a second gap between them and 3rd place, but they do. But that number 74 somehow got past that number 48 for 3rd position after about 10 lap fight there. Now they got a problem as that number 83 is looking up. He's got some speed to him, and so does that number 33 of Brandon 6.
Yeah, and as we look here at the leaders, we're about to get into the 32-second laps here. So we're noticing the tires are coming off as the 09 side by side with the 1 going into 3 and 4.
As they are side by side off turn 3 and 4 here, the 09 uses that apron to his advantage on the whole front stretch, as they do seem to single file up back out here. The number 1 chooses the low lane this time in turn number 1. That's something new. That 09 will take that middle lane. Can't seem to get it done. Looks like that 09 has tore up his tires just a little bit there. Maybe not able to keep up pace now with that number 1.
Yeah, the 09 really went for a huge pass there on the bottom going into 3 and 4 last time by. And they were side by side. Not much between them there in 3 and 4.
We have 47 laps to go here. I think we're going to start to watch some drivers take to pit road with 45 laps to go, all the way down to about 25 to 30 laps to go. Just all depends on when these drivers want to come down pit road, what's best for their chance to win the race tonight.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you there. I think we're going to see some different strategies, see some people, what's your team doing, and, what's the decision and talk on the radio.
As the radio talk is probably starting to get up a lot more on these teams' radio channels, trying to decide when they want to come down pit road here. As a racer, and I once again say I would pit between lap 30 to 35 to go here, as that just seems like the smart move to go. That's about your tire window right there. You don't have to worry about fuel. If you do pit with 40 to 45 laps to go, you're getting a little iffy on fuel. You're starting to push the limits, and that's also pushing the limits way over for your tires.
Yeah, and the longer you wait, the longer you give the other drivers to get loose and cause a caution here. You definitely don't want to go in and then see a caution after you had pitted early.
As we've seen a little wiggle out of the number 09 coming out of turn 2 there. Not a big wiggle, but able to save it. As he's starting to close the gap, maybe just a little bit between him and the number 1 now.
Yeah, and David Rattler actually putting down the fastest lap on the last lap of a 32.12 and trying to really close that gap to the 1, especially when we see pit stops in the near future.
As they come around for 43 laps to go here tonight. Non-Stop Racing TV is going to throw it up into a Crank It Up view here tonight. Presented to you once again by Non-Stop Racing TV.
No, and we see the 09 of David Rattler still on the bumper of the number 1 of Brad Patton, really giving him, you know, a run for his money here with 40 laps to go. We finally see some people start to come down pit road. I see the 78 car on pit road and the 33 car come down pit road there. Yeah, and everyone on track now is on lap 38 of both their tires and their fuel. So we are definitely going to see some cars start to get a little loose here, as we have already started to see. And we're going to see some more cars pull down pit road here as we continue, because the leaders are still staying out. Yeah, and I would think that we have 1 to maybe 3 laps left before we see these leaders come down pit road. As they just turned a 40th lap on both these tires and fuel. I mean, we'll see how far they can actually stretch this. I think we have 6 cars, well 5 cars now on track on the lead lap. And the 09 really trying to get that spot so when they do go into pit. Oh. The only other car on the track right now would be the number 29 of Alan Pajari. Is the only person that has not pitted. I believe we should see him come down pit road as well this time by, seeing that he's on 43 laps on those tires. No, the number 18 is not pitted yet either, so we should also see him come down pit road as well. I think we have the 19 of Tyler Hudson and the number 83 of James Hudson as well that have not pitted yet on this round. Yeah, the number 1 of Brad Patton really has got his work cut out for him here with a couple cars to pass before he makes his way back up to the lead. Yeah, and as these leaders on the track right now are on their 46th or 47th lap on this tank of fuel, I would have to say that, you know, we are really pushing the limits here on the tank of fuel. There comes the 18. Should be the number 25 of Joseph Thiefs, which he again still is not pitted.
As my mic's actually been muted this whole time, and I do apologize for that. But that will cycle the lead out as the 18 did pit to Joseph Tice.
I would have never.
As that number 25 is pushing his cars to the limit, at least his car to the limit with that gas and tires, I don't think that number 25, that number 92, or the 43 have pitted, or 76. There's a lot of cars that maybe haven't pitted yet. Not sure.
Yeah, I see the number 25, the 92, the 43, and the 76 and 70 still on track that have not pitted.
So plenty of cars that have not pitted here tonight. 27 laps to go. Maybe they think they can push their cars to the end, but I don't think so.
No, I really think that we saw some actually early pitting strategies here, as the number 25, Joseph Tice, is actually on lap 50.
He's on lap 50. He's pushing that car. You can see him wiggle a little bit trying to get out to turn 4 there. He's losing a lot of time, but I mean he's got a big gap between him whoever would be the next guy to take that has fresher tires. Trying to see if I can figure out who that would be. Looking to be maybe that...
Should be the 09 of David Rattler. Would be the one on the freshest tires, and the number 33 of Brandon 6 is actually only 12 laps into his run and should be on some fresh tires as well. And the number 25 of Joseph Tice is now running 32.8 was his last lap. So almost losing a whole entire second to the people that had just pitted.
We'll take a look at our top 5 right now. It's going to be the number 25 in the lead of Joseph Tice. In second, the number 92 of Bruce Ackerman. In third, the number 43 of William Dunn. In fourth, the number 76 of Randy Fayash. And rounding out that top 5 will be the number 09 of David Rattler. 7 seconds behind that number 25. 24 laps to go here. That number 25, if he does not need to pit again, is really hoping he can hold off this lead to the end of the race.
Whenever we look back at the 09 of David Rattler, we, of course, have seen the number 1 of Brad Patton catch right up to his bumper. A whole bunch of them just pitted again.
As we do here, a whole bunch are pitting once again. We're going to try and see what cars are pitting. As, ooh, we're going to see that number 09 actually. He's fighting with that number 1 now because these two have the most freshest tires and are trying to fight up their way to that lead position and are currently doing so as they are now into the top 5 together. This is going to be the battle for the lead right here, folks. These two drivers. When is it going to change out to the lead? We'll have to see. As that number 1 takes that low line in the 09 to the high. 09's going to get that momentum coming out of turn number 2. Gets a little wiggle out of the car there out of turn 2, but still has that momentum. As that number 1 just trying to figure out a way to get by him. 22 laps to go. Coming around at 21, I believe. These guys are catching that leader, man. They are about...
They're about a second, 1.3 seconds faster than the leader right now on lap times.
1.3 seconds and a gap of about 2.5 seconds. They're catching that leader like no tomorrow. As he just came out of turn 2 on the backstretch, you saw on that camera that the 09 and 1 were not too far behind.
Yeah, and I'm now considering that the 25 may have came down pit road there and just splashed some fuel and did not take tires, and that's why he's able to stay out there, but is still running these slow lap times. As we now have 20 to go, your leader is number 25, Joseph Tice.
As that does cycle out to the lead there, the number 25 did pit. Now the number 09 led his first lap of the night here. Is he going to be able to lead another one? Going to be close. He did lead it that time, but will lead his second lap of the night here tonight. As 18 laps to go, this number 1 shows that he has this long run car speed, and he's currently showing it right now as he got by the number 09. Brad Patton, still my number 1 pick to win here tonight, but that number 09 of David Rattler wants to shake things up here and prove wrong. With 18 laps to go here, these cars will be fighting for the lead. Will they be keeping us on our toes? 17 laps to go as they hit the line.
Yeah, and they really have left third place completely in the dust, almost a whole straightaway behind at this point.
these two cars will be the main focus here for the next 17 laps. Have been the main focus for most of the laps here tonight, but you know why? Because these two cars are just showing how much of a strong car they have. They're just going to fight for the lead.
That'll do it.
As that number 09, times are just starting to fall off a little bit here. He's about a 10th slower each lap so far to this number 1. I have a feeling this 09 is going to be praying for a caution, but as this race is looking right now with 15 laps to go, we're going to end this race under green, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, we really have hashed this whole field out, and everyone's kind of broken up. And we're going to see a fight to the finish with 15 to go between the 09 of David Rattler and the number 1 of Brad Patton.
As they come around to 14 laps to go here tonight. This is starting to be a strong show here, but that number 1 is just starting to pull away. That 19 maybe burned up his tires trying to hold him off and fight with him. That 19 really wants a caution right now to get new tires and possibly fight for that lead again. That number 1, he's just driving around lap by lap, every second, praying that a caution does not happen. But he still has to bite his tongue for coming around for 13 more laps. He's got to come around 13 more times, biting his tongue, hoping no caution will fly.
Yeah, and Brad Patton still running some quick laps here at 31.9, a tenth of a second ahead of David Rattler.
Last time by, the number 1 ran a lap time of a 31.9.67, and the number 09 ran a lap time of a 32.001. They're really close on lap times, but that number 1 is just edging out that 09 right now. As you see by this time, 32 actually runs a slower lap of a 10th. The number 1, why did I say 32? I looked at the time. The number 1 ran a 32.13, and the number 09 ran a 32.0. The number 09 ran a 10th faster that time, almost exactly a 10th faster. Now he's trying to play around and see where he can catch that number 1.
Yeah, and I think the 09 is just trying to chip away at this lead one lap at a time, but realizing that he has only 11 laps to do it, he's going to have to do something quick. And as we come out of 4 here, the number 1 of Brad Patton in the lead with the number 09 of David Rattler chasing him with 10 to go here at Las Vegas.
10 laps to go here tonight for the Integrity Racing League Rowell the Dice 200. I think he said roll the dice. I feel like it's Rowell, but we might have to get a checkup on that.
Yeah, the number 1 of Brad Patton is really checking out here as he just continues to extend his lead here with 9 to go.
Coming around to 9 to go, we saw a little wiggle out of that number 1 coming out of turn 4. Didn't affect him though, as he's still putting a gap. He's just opening that gap more and more between him and that number 09.
Yeah, and keeping his lap times really consistent around that 32.0. He has not lost any time in the last 5 to 6 laps at all.
Patton started 4th here tonight. He's currently led 88 laps so far. Fastest lap time was a 29.992, native out of Ohio, showing that his Ohio country roots are takeable anywhere to dominate, especially in the big city of Las Vegas.
Yeah, definitely showing he can come out west and get it done here in Las Vegas. We come around this time around to 7 laps to go as he continues to just spread this lead out.
Current race summary so far here tonight. The leader is, of course, the number 1 of Brad Patton. coming around to a complete lap. 127 of 134. 13 lead changes here tonight and 4 cautions for a total of 13 laps.
Yeah, and as we round out our top 5 here, we have the number 1 of Brad Patton in the lead. We have the number 09 of David Rattler in second. We have the number 48 of Adam DeBlasio in third. We have the number 74 of Sam Roush in fourth. And we have the number 5 of Girolamo Alvarez in fifth.
As we'll put on to the battle here between the number 48 and the number 74. Actually, no, I'm sorry, the number 74 and 83 here tonight. With 6 laps to go, these drivers are fighting for P4. Number 83 is on that low line, trying to make the pass onto the number 74 for P4, but the momentum on that high line is keeping that 74 in the lead right now. Ooh, we're going to see him almost touch there going into turn number 3. Coming around. Ooh, a little wiggle out of the 74. That's going to give the advantage to the 83 coming across the line. He's going to take P number 4. Is he going to be able to clear him, though? Don't think so as they go into turn number 1.
Nah, the 74 is definitely going to get a huge run on that high line. It's going to be hard to keep that 83 car on the bottom there.
Although the 83 does clear him, is he going to go up high to block? He does not. He sees that strong run coming from the 74. Doesn't want to risk the chance of the 74 slamming into his bumper and wrecking him.
The 83 got a little loose there coming out of 2 and had to straighten it out. And as we go to 4 laps to go.
4 laps to go here. The 83 clears the 74. Is he going to try and come up and block out of the turn? No, he cannot. The 74 too strong on that outside. As this will probably be our main focus as of now. Seems to be the only fight happening on this track right now. Coming across the line for 3 laps to go.
Yeah, really impressive driving here by the 83 to keep that down on that white line and keeping that car to stick with 32 laps on these tires.
As we see a little wiggle out of the 83 coming out of turn 2 there. Doesn't seem to give much of an advantage to the 74. They are now coming around for 2 laps to go. Ooh, we're going to see a little contact between the 74 and the 83. Doesn't seem to slow him down much. Go side by side, come to the line. 2 laps to go here tonight at Las Vegas. That 83 is getting has some great tires, able to keep him to stick down there on that low line. Can't get the run out of the turn he needs as the 74 will clear him. Going into turn 3, the 83 looks to dive bomb maybe a little bit. Will he slide up? Who knows as they come around. White flag is in the air waving. Final lap here to go. 83 rides the bumper of the number 74. AC maybe a final move here tonight. He looks to the inside. 74 keeps that high lane. 83 trying to get it to stick. Can't get the run out of the turn he needs. Is he going to make a move into the final turn here? He's going to try it. Is he going to be able to make it stick? Coming around to turn number 4 here. It's going to be a close one. 74 is probably going to have the momentum. Will the 83 look to the line? This is going to be a close one. 74 inches it out by a splitter, though.
Wow, what a great race there for 4th place between the 74 and the 83 to end that. But, of course, the number 1 of Brad Patton takes the win there.
Takes the win here tonight for the Roll the Dice 200. As we're going to try and get your top 3 in here for tonight's interviews. For that. Looking to get all the drivers ready, getting prepared here for the interviews. As we'll try and get a connection here with the number 48 of Adam de Blasio. Do you have a copy?
Adam de Blasio, yes.
De Blasio, I am sorry. Haha. Well, we definitely saw you had somewhat of a strong car here tonight. Ran about the top 10 the whole night. What was your strategy going into tonight's race?
I was hoping that it would go green and I could do my long run strategy because I did a couple NIS races this past weekend. I was super fast on a long run, so I was kind of hoping for more green flag racing there.
We definitely saw a lot of green flag racing. Definitely seen a lot of different pit stops there on that final pit stop. What was your hope trying to go into that pit stop, thinking maybe you could possibly come out here tonight with the win?
Yeah, most everyone that was like battling for the win or whatever up there, we were splitting the final run in half. So that's theoretically the fastest strategy, and I stayed within 1.52 seconds of the top two people before pit stops, and I just overshot my pit box. I was too far forward. I had to back up, and that cost me 3 seconds, I think. And yeah, had to battle with Sam Roush, very clean racer, very hard racer. It was hard to get around, but tried to get Patton and Rattler there at the end.
All right. Well, before we head you out here for tonight, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
I want to thank Fife for putting on this league. I want to thank you guys for broadcasting, and my RBR teammates in this league. My brother Eric de Blasio, Joseph Tice, Trevor Rapolo, Bruce Ackerman. Did I say Trevor Rapolo? I think I did. I can't remember. But also this past week, it was announced that Silent Empire is my Road to Pro sponsor. So I want to give a shout out to them because they picked me up and started Silent Empire Racing along with their Call of Duty, CSGO, Fortnite, and all those shooting games. So I feel happy to be a part of that now.
Definitely feel blessed for you here tonight, and we do wish you a lot of luck for the Road to Pro. Great racing here tonight, and we can't wait to see it again next week.
Thank you.
Have a great night. All right, as we can't seem to get any radio communication between us and the number 09 of David Rattler, unfortunately. Trying one more time for the connection. Can't seem to get it done. Can get the connection though with the number 1 here tonight, the winner of the Roll the Dice 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Brad Patton, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Had one of the most dominant cars here tonight. Led the most laps of 97 of 134. How did your set feel in that long run?
It was a little loose. I was trying to find the grip, and just being able to work around the track and being respectful with David there, we were able to find where the remaining amount of grip was on the track and just pull away.
Well, you definitely were my pick here for tonight to win, and I was right for the third week in a row so far. Gonna try and keep this streak going. We did see a little different pit stop for you there out of that final green flag pit stop. You pitted a little later. Maybe thought that number 09 was going to have more of a fight with you towards the end of this race. What was your thoughts going through that final pit stop?
Well, I wanted to keep the laps to about 35 or under and go in the pits there. That way you can have better tires, better fuel strategy, everything like that. And once I seen David go in, I was committed to pitting the next lap anyway. So I was going to stay out as long as I possibly could in order to do that.
All right. Well, great job leading most of this race here tonight. Had a strong car. Is there anybody you'd like to thank before we head you out here for tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Got to thank Fife and the admins for running the league here at Integrity Racing League. Got to thank Fastlane Motorsports for having me on their team and just having a good time.
All right. Well, great performance here tonight. Congratulations on the win, and hopefully you have a great celebration with your team. And have a great night, Brad.
You too, Zach. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Well, Dustin, after seeing some great racing here tonight, man, I was definitely satisfied with tonight's racing, and man, I've been satisfied these last couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed with the different faces we've seen in the top 5 over the first 3 weeks of this league as they get started here. I mean, definitely saw some great racing tonight between Brad Patton and David Rattler up there for the 1 and 2 on these long runs. A lot of clean racing and, some different faces we're seeing in and out week in and week out.
Definitely so. And it's been a great broadcast here tonight here on Non-Stop Racing TV with your announcers, Zach Mecca and Dustin Chosen up here in the booth, getting ready to sign off here tonight. We hope you all enjoyed and have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.